I said we save the best for last. So for our last bit of energy, can we make sure to give a warm round of applause as we bring in our final speaker for the first day, Logan Forson.
Creator Fest, how are we doing? Yeah. Who here's gotten value today? Who here feels like that they have some takeaways that's going to help them in their creator business?
Yeah.
Amazing. Can we give a round of applause to Icon, the rest of the team, for putting all this together? It's been amazing. So I would love to just get a quick poll before we kick off the presentation. Who in here is already full-time with their creator business? Okay. And then who in here is full-time with their creator business, but time just hasn't caught up yet? Nobody? You're building to it. You're going to get there. Manifesting. Okay, love it. All right, so I want to help everyone bridge that gap today. And the presentation, the big promise, is how we guarantee up to 1 billion views in 180 days, but more importantly, how you can do it yourself. So you may be wondering, who the heck are you? My name is Logan Forsythe. I'm founder and co-CEO of Media Scaling. I've been on some podcasts, some speaking stages just like this, and some stats about us as a company. We're an award-winning social media firm. We've been recognized in over 14 publications as the #1 leading firm in creator growth. We're generating over 500 million views per month for our clients. We have a global team of over 115 people, and we have clients who are collectively earning billions in annual revenue, and we've learned a lot about how they do that. And so we bring a lot of that consultative value to all of our relationships. And so before we dive in, after having thousands of conversations between myself and team members, I've realized there are really two different avatars of creators in the audience who need to be addressed today. So first is the money guy, right? And these are business owners who create content part-time for their business. They call themselves personal brands. Who here more fits in that category? You create content because you want to make more money. You're an entrepreneur first, content creator second. Awesome, okay? Then we have this guy or gal who are creatives and entertainers who full-time create content because they love it. They're a creator first, the money comes second. They call themselves creators. Who here would more identify as a creator over a personal brand? Amazing. Okay, so this is a good representation of each mold. None is better than the other, but we have Hermosi here, the president of business owners, and then Mr. Beast, the president of creators. Right, and both of you are different people with different problems, but also a lot of similarities. Regardless of which of the two avatars that you are, if you're somewhere in between, this presentation and my goal is to bridge that gap and plug the holes that are holding you back from getting 10 levels ahead as a personal brand or creator. So I promise this is going to be incredibly tactical, incredibly actionable. I wanted to just pump in as much as I could in the short time that we have. So I'm going to go quick, but I want to make sure that everyone gets a lot of gold nuggets to take away today. And I want this to lead to more growth, more impact, and more money for you in your creator business, right? And so there's really 3 pillars to a creator business. I look at it as you have content quality, content distribution, and then content monetization. And most creators are really only good or really focus in on one of these 3 pillars. And when it comes to personal brands, they're not the best at content quality, and they're a little bit better at content distribution. And where they're the strongest is content monetization, right? And when I talk to them, they're so focused on getting to a 10 out of 10 on content monetization, when if they put a lot of focus into the content distribution and the content quality, it would produce more results overall. It's higher leverage because there's more room to improve, right? There's more green, and green is good. So my goal today is to teach you how to maximize these green lines if you're a personal brand, because again, more green is good. And if you're a creator, most creators are really strong with content quality. This is what they focus on first more than anything else. A little bit weaker with the distribution, and then content monetization comes last. That's why Icon said earlier of the comment that was at dinner of, we create content, we don't make money, right? We see that a lot. And they're so focused on getting to a 10 out of 10 on content quality, when if they focus also more on the distribution and the monetization, again, it would be higher leverage for their overall brand and business and create more green, which is the goal today, regardless of which bucket you fall into as a creator or a personal brand. So to dive in, I want to break down 3 steps to become a top 1% creator in the current day and maximize the green lines. First, you create great content. Second, you mass distribute great content. And then third, you maximize your monetization. So let's dive in. How do you create great content? First, I want to pose the question, what even is great content? So who here thinks that this is great content? Okay. A lot of Mr. Beast haters, apparently. What about this? Who here thinks that this is great content? What about this? Yeah, that's for the ladies. Who here thinks that this is great content? Oh, a lot of Kim haters. Only 1, 2, 3. Okay. What about this? Great content? Yeah? Oh, man. More than anyone else. What about this? Oh, yeah, it got tense real quick. Oh my gosh. Crazy. It's crazy that this photo doesn't even apply anymore. The times we live in. Or what about this? Who remembers Charlie? Yeah? Okay. The answer is it depends. Every example I showed is great content. And great content being defined as capturing a lot of attention, right? And so why does it depend? Because everyone is different. We have different goals, different types of content, and different audiences. So there's no one-size-fits-all answer for anyone. And so instead of giving you a fish, I want to teach you how to fish. So you have these big AI fish jumping out of the water into your boat, like in this picture. And the philosophy behind this is that social media is a free university, so you should use it as such, which I'm sure a lot of people in this room do today. And instead of consuming, you want to study. And so how do you do that? This is where it gets tactical. This is where the notes come out. And I'm going to go fast. So I have a QR code. It has the copy of the slide presentation for anyone that wants to get it later on. So step 1, what you want to do is create a new email and then new social media accounts with that new email. And you want to then create those accounts on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. The reason being is because when you're starting with a fresh account, it trains the algorithm on the type of content to show you. It's not going off of any other past behavior or data points. It gives you a fresh slate, okay? And then using the new social media accounts, engage with and create a list of 20 other top similar accounts to your brand on each platform. You can use the platform's recommended features to find similar accounts. After you start watching and engaging with some, it'll serve you a lot more. And this will train the algorithm to continue serving you top-performing content in your niche for inspiration, right? So you can use this separately from your personal profile. It's just for research. Third, you want to pay attention to what is working and what is not. So look at the branding, look at the aesthetics, the themes, the colors of the content, the music, the storytelling, the copy, bios, banners, like study everything, all the sensual inputs that is exuded in their content. You also want to pay attention to the data. So look at the outlier posts that perform above average. There's a reason of why that happened, right? And so you want to study that. And you can also do the inverse and look at the posts that flopped and that performed worse than average and stay away from that. Study why it didn't work. You want to look at the content style as well. So there's talking head, there's reaction, there's vlog, there's on the street content, there's voiceover. There's so many different pillars to content styles. And I get asked a lot, which one's the best? They're all the best. They all work. You just have to choose what works best for you and your brand. You want to add minimum 5 top performing videos per account to a Google Sheet and then study the videos to learn why they perform well. Really pay attention to the hook. I believe we've all heard it at this point. The hook is the most important piece of all of your content. The length of the hook can vary depending on the length of the video. If it's a short form clip, the hook is usually the first 3 seconds, maybe 5 seconds. If it's a longer form video, the hook is longer because people are willing to watch longer before they fully decide if they want to dedicate 30, 60, 90 minutes to watch a long form piece of content. So you want to write down notes for each video next to each link in the Google Sheet, and then model and innovate. You don't want to copy and paste, okay? Model and innovate. Look at the posts that have performed really well, and then use that for inspiration to make it your own. But now, when you do this, you're no longer pulling ideas out of air and just guessing of what's going to work and what's not going to work. You're going off of proven data of other outlier posts that have performed really well and gone viral. Who feels like that's probably a smarter strategy than sitting in front of the camera and like figuring it out as you go? Awesome. After you do this a long time and you are a Mr. Beast or Alex Hermosi, you've put in the reps to where you can start to pull ideas out. You've built the brand, you have the audience, but this is a really fast way to get started with data of proven results. Now, content cadence. You want to map out your content target, strategy, and video ideas. An example would be once a month. You don't have to do this once a month. You can choose your schedule. And an example target would be if you are going after 1 long form video per week and 2 short form videos per day. Then on the long form, when you're preparing this once a month, create the title and the video idea for each long form video that month, right? Then on the short form side, if you're targeting 2 short form videos a day, that's 60 short form videos per month. So you could reverse engineer. An example may be that you take 20 clips from your long form content, and then you do 20 reaction videos of related news or something that is relatable to your brand, and then 20 talking head, like direct-to-camera videos, right? Not saying this is what you do, but for an example. Decide on the video hook for each one of the short-form content pieces, and also put together an outline if necessary. And then step 2 is you want to create a filming schedule for your content to really start to build systems around this and batch it to make it sustainable. Examples of this is maybe you have a filming day per week or 2 filming days per month, whatever works best for you. You want to add it to your calendar and then commit. And a big part of this is to prepare for each filming day rather than winging it, right? So we follow the previous slide of everything that was broken down, and then we prepare. So that way when you show up to film, you're ready to go. And you start knocking it all out back to back to back to back to back. It becomes much more efficient. Content research tools. This helps you really expedite that process that I broke down in the first slide. Viewstats.com is amazing. It's a tool released by Mr. Beast. The pro version is recommended. I could go into a lot of features. I'm not. Just check it out. I highly recommend. For Instagram, there's viralfinder.com without an E, and it shows you the top performing content across accounts and different categories, hashtags, keywords. TikTok has talkaudit.io, and X/Twitter, no one knows what to call it anymore, has tweethunter.io. Okay, now that we've done that, we want to go to pillar 2 of mass distribute the great content once you start creating great content. Important point, quality comes first, okay? You can't polish a turd. So if you don't have quality content and then you just start posting a ton of it, it's not going to perform. Quality has to come first. But once you do have the quality, then that's when you horizontally scale and you start doing a lot more distribution. And so the really foundation of the optimal posting cadence is to be at, and look, there's variables on this, but overall, we've studied countless channels. And anytime we see someone who's at this cadence and they're following the map of creating great quality content, they're absolutely growing. There's no doubt about it. 1 long form video per week. And then I'm a believer that once you have it, you should post it everywhere you can that is going to perform, because you've done most of the hard work. It's pretty easy to go out there and outsource and delegate someone to post for you. If you're not there yet, schedule it out, get it done, right? But you're going to get more views if you post it on more platforms rather than only one, when the video can work across platforms. And now you're omnipresent, right? So post it on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, X, and LinkedIn, and then look at the data. If your long-form content is consistently flopping on one of these platforms, then you don't have to keep it as a consistent cadence, but always experiment, and then let the data decide. Then target 2 short-form videos per day per account across platforms. Again, you need to be at quality. And then for these short-form videos, again, if it works on one platform, you can post it on multiple. You should. I'm a big believer. And so post it on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, X, and LinkedIn. All of your primary socials. You do this, you're already in top 1% of creators in terms of the posting volume. You combine that with quality, time becomes your biggest asset. You just do this and you don't stop. And so this is what it looks like visually. We see over here on the right-hand side, this is the daily short-form content going out across platforms. On the left-hand side, you have your long-form content. I like looking at it from a mind map perspective like this because I look at every post that we put out as digital real estate, right? Every post you put out is an asset that is exposing you to more people, bringing more people into your world, strengthening your brand, putting more attention on whatever it is you do. And so the more real estate you own, the better you're going to do. Then this is where it gets really exciting. So when you have the content systems to create more than 2 short-form videos per day, and this is the key while also maintaining quality, this is where you become a top 0.01% creator. And so this is the scale optimal posting cadence. What you want to do is what we call creating a new batch of sub-accounts to post every additional 2 short-form videos for your brand. So a batch example would be Mr. Beast Reels, right? Create it under your brand name and then have it match. You do Mr. Beast Reels, Mr. Beast Clips, Best of Mr. Beast TV, Mr. Beast Advice. There's a lot of, just get creative on how you want to do this. And you want to create a batch of accounts with this username on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and Facebook. So 5 total accounts per batch. These 5 platforms are where we see the most success with short-form content alone. X, we've tested extensively. We don't see a lot of success on that platform with short-form video alone. It's largely still text-based. And LinkedIn doesn't allow you to create a full network of sub-accounts. What you want to do is then post 2 short-form videos per day per account. And when you're doing 2 posts per day across 5 platforms, that's 10 posts per day, right? Which is 300 posts per month, 10 times 30. And then you want to rinse and repeat. And the goal is to create more great content that gets posted across more accounts. Then, don't stop. With maximum scale targets of what this looks like, there's really 2 pillars to it. So if you're a creator and you are the main subject in all of your content, then we've tested going all the way up to over 10,000, 11,000 posts per month for one person. And there is a law of detrimental return. It does become too much. It's like ad fatigue. People start seeing you all the time, everywhere. The results can drop off. So what we see is the optimal posting volume for a creator is to be at 20 unique short-form videos per day across 50 total sub-accounts, which is 3,000 posts per month. This is the ideal target that you want to scale up to over time. And then if you're a B2C enterprise brand, you can scale way more. You can do 100+ unique short-form videos a day, 250+ total sub-accounts, 15,000+ posts per month, and beyond. We're starting to build, we're here with creators for the long term, but we're starting to build also, my goal, I want to work with Netflix. I want to work with the NFL, with Marvel Studios, these major platforms to where you could create a full network of so many accounts and get really creative with this. So that's the idea behind a B2C enterprise brand. Which, by the way, does anyone know anyone at B2C enterprise brands? If you do, let's talk. We have a booth outside. We have a nice referral fee. You may get paid well for introduction. And so what we did is, this was the foundation posting cadence, right, of the short-form content to long-form content. And when you start to scale this through sub-accounts, this is what it starts to look like at scale. So which do you think, again, on the contingency that quality is high, which do you think is going to produce more results for your brand? If these were houses and you're a real estate investor, who do you think is the wealthier investor if they're making good buys? It's the second. There we go. Thank you. All right. And now we want to get into the nitty-gritty of number 3, maximize monetization. I think everyone here is wanting to make more money than anything else from what I've been told. Yeah? We like money? We love money? All right. Maximize monetization. So there's different ways to monetize. Now, I wanted to create a summarized list. Yes, there's other details that may not be on this list, but overall, after all the conversations that we have, you have AdSense, brand sponsorships, physical products, digital products, Patreon, or any other creator platform, services, online community, and then I'll explain what ownership means, right? Icon did a great job of breaking down. I actually hadn't seen the stat. It was like 97.5% of creators who rely on AdSense alone are below the poverty line. But I've been saying for a long time, AdSense is the most ineffective way to monetize on social media, by far. It's great, it's there. Like when you create content and you get monetized, it's like, free money, it's icing on the cake. But when you rely on it, it creates a lot of problems. When your views to dollar ratio is extremely skewed, it's very, very low, right? And I talk to too many creators, too many YouTubers who have 1 million, 2 million subscribers, their view counts are still pretty strong, and they're stressed because their income is so cyclical. From AdSense, they make $50K one month and $5K the next. They never know, the algorithm switches, they have a bit dip, keywords change, advertisers stop spending as much money. There's so many things out of your control that make this very unpredictable. It's hard to really build a business and go full time when you can't predict what you're going to make in future months. Brand sponsorships can be great, okay? We talk to people who are doing big money, 7, 8 figures in brand sponsorships alone. It can even go beyond that. The reason I put it here is because there's still a long sales cycle. There's still less predictability. And when you are earlier on in your creator journey, you're not going to get brand deals that are going to pay you nearly as much money versus owning your own thing, which is where the next categories come into play. You have physical products. Again, can be lucrative. We've all seen Logan Paul with Prime, Nelk Boys with Happy Dad, Mr. Beast with Feastables. So many creators have launched merch. And physical products can also be great. It can be lucrative, but there's a lot of complexity. Unless you partner with someone who just takes it all over for you, you have to understand supplier relationships and distributors and customer service and client services, then all the marketing, the promotion, and usually one-time products are one-time buys as well, so there's less recurring revenue attached to it. There's all these things, right? It takes a high level of experience. Digital products can be more scalable, higher profit margin, less time to create. They can also be great. Most digital products, if you're looking at, like, let's say an info product or a course, a lot of it is still tailored to a one-time buy unless you have a service attached to it, which I'm not crazy about just one-time purchases. We're going to dive into that. I love Patreon for a lot of creators. And there's other platforms that are built to help creators monetize more effectively. Patreon, in my opinion, is the best. It has brand awareness to where at this point, everyone knows about it. Everyone has seen their other favorite creators use it. They've really branded themselves well to be for creators, by creators. So there's not the negative stigma of you like selling out to your audience. It removes a lot of those things. You don't need as much experience. It's easy, fast to set up, and you can really crush it if you do it properly, which we're going to break down. Services can be great. It still takes a high level of expertise to do it at scale. You need to build a team. There's a lot that goes into it. Online communities are a huge trend. They're really hot right now, and it's another big opportunity. We've talked about Hermosi a few times. Everyone's seen school.com. There's circle.so. You can add community into Patreon, build a Discord. There's a lot of ways to go about it. And then ownership is the best, 10 out of 10. And there's 2 pillars to the ownership side. First is anytime that you sell something that you own, instead of relying on AdSense or instead of selling other people's stuff, you're going to make more money if you have a great offer and you do it well, because you own it, right? And the second part of ownership is the monetization vehicles, like you have Grant Cardone raising funds, buying billions of dollars in real estate, or Alex Hermosi basically doing private equity with acquisition.com. He does a lot of consult with equity. And so that's more of an ownership model rather than selling, let's say, courses that a lot of people have used to become worth 9 or 10 figures on social media. And then I want to break down types of payments that I've alluded to a little bit, to where there's more than this, but for simplicity's sake, you have one-time payments and recurring payments always win. When you have recurring revenue, it gives you so much more predictability. And when you start to focus in on retention, which we're going to break down, keeping customers longer, you make a lot more money, which is good, right? We all want more money? Yeah? Yeah. So recurring payments are great. And that's why when I broke down the other models on the screen of this scale, recurring payments is a heavy lever that went into ranking it, right? And so if you're a creator earning 0 to 5 million per year, out of all of these options, I want to help simplify it for you further. And out of all those options, this is the most predictable path that I've seen to be very successful to take you full time. Not only to take you full time, but depending on what level you get it to, we have clients and we talk to people who with these 3 pillars alone can get to multiple 7 figures. The route is there. And creators meaning, remember, we have personal brands and creators. This is the creators. This is where you love creating content. You're not business first. If you're a personal brand entrepreneur earning 0 to 5 million per year, out of all these different pillars, I would recommend focusing in on these and picking one. Focus is important, and we're going to dive into that. You can make a whole lot of money doing any of this. So as I alluded to, focus is more important than everything else. The wise Bruce Lee said, the successful warrior is the average man with laser-like focus. Steve Jobs, which I believe some people have heard of, said focusing is about saying no. Every time you say yes, there's opportunity cost. David Allen said, you can do anything, but not everything.
If you're getting value from this video and you are a leading consumer or personal brand and want to learn how we can guarantee you up to 1 billion organic views on social media, go to our website at mediascaling.com and complete an application. Then our team will get back to you shortly with more information. There's also a link down below in the description of this video. And with that said, let's get back to it.
Hormozi has a great saying of more, then better, then new. And so many people, especially when you're earlier on in your journey, there's a lot of shiny object syndrome, right? You're like, oh, we could do this. And I just met someone who's making a lot of money doing this. And then there's also this idea. And it's like, next quarter, I'm going to release this thing. And the hardest part of the entire journey is launching a new offer, is building a new business. It's the first stages. It's the hardest part. And so you keep always switching to these new opportunities instead of really focusing in on one, and it holds you back. So always ask yourself, instead of doing something different, can I do more of this thing? And if there's other people making money, you can make money as well doing that thing. Right? And then once you tap out, you feeling like you can do more, do it better. And only rarely should you consider doing something new. Very rarely. All right, so step 1, maximize monetization. Really, you need to know how to craft an undeniable offer. With our company, Media Scaling, we guarantee up to 1 billion views in 180 days. It's an undeniable offer, right? It's been so core to our success. It breaks through the noise. And there is like so many details that could get into this. I felt it was crucial, very, very important for me to include this, but there's not enough time to do it in today's presentation. So I have this QR code. We have a free program for everyone. It's 2 hours. Honestly, I believe it's the most valuable thing that I've ever created, called Undeniable Offer. We included it with our paid consulting program. We've never given away for free, but wanted to do it today because I can't skip over it if you're going to truly make a lot of money. Awesome. And then so going back to the creator, out of these 3 pillars, I want to focus on Patreon more for a second. And why? Because like I said, it's fast to scale. You can launch a Patreon and start having people come in right away. Brand deals, there's a sales cycle. If they're not reaching out to you, you work with a manager, they bring you deals, you hop on a call, they do a tester. It's a process to scale your income. It has monthly recurring revenue, which we talked about is important. Generally, since it's lower price point, there's 80% plus retention, which is really great. Predictable income because of the high retention and monthly recurring revenue. It's easy and quick to set up and launch. Doesn't require upfront build out of a bunch of curriculum. It's built and branded for creators, so it doesn't risk brand reputation when you launch and have a Patreon that you sell to your audience. It's very well known in the marketplace. There's no customer service needed. This is a huge cheat code. Huge cheat code. Doesn't require much additional time on behalf of the creator. And it has plug and play features for offer fulfillment. Makes sense for almost everyone. If you don't have a business already, this is for the creators. And so I wanted to include this picture of nice, pretty gift wrapping, right? And then I wanted to include a picture of not so pretty gift wrapping. And why I included this is because when you're building and pitching an offer, it's all about how you wrap it. It's all about how you promote it, what you put together, the benefits that you include with it. That's why I wanted to include undeniable offers. And so using an example pitch of Patreon, this is the bad wrapping paper that almost everyone does. Is, hey, join my Patreon, you get early access to content, and then you support the channel. You support me as a creator. And that's the pitch. It's like the worst pitch ever. They're like, why would I support you? It's like, I have my own bills to pay. You're almost like a charity at that point. Everyone, when they're purchasing something, you always want to ask, like, what's in it for me? Right? And so instead of that wrapping paper, let's do this wrapping paper and say, hey, you can join my Patreon completely for free to test it out. We have an amazing community, build lifelong friendships. I do Q&A calls, monthly giveaways. We have themes to it, and you get early access to exclusive content. Which one's better? 3. At the end of the day, it's same offer. Like you can, add in some different bullet points like Q&A calls, whether you want to do those or not. But it's different wrapping paper, right? Same platform, same offer. And so you see just making these tweaks can make a massive difference on the results. We talked to a lot of people that are like, I did Patreon or I did this platform, it didn't work for me. It's like, well, how'd you pitch it? It's like, well, support the channel. It's like, that's why it didn't work. So maximize monetization, some examples of gift wrapping your Patreon offer, 7-day free trial. This is a cheat code. Anytime that I've done a lower ticket subscription offer, added a 7-day trial to it, you have so many more people sign up. And if it's good, they'll stay. Join the community, make lifelong friendships, bi-weekly or monthly Q&A calls with you as a creator, more personal access to you as the creator. Proximity is powerful. Proximity is valuable. When you start to build up an audience, a lot of that audience who engages with you constantly, you are a celebrity to them. Proximity is valuable. Exclusive content or early content if you don't want to make even more content. Monthly themes, or just think of ways that you can consistently continue to add new value, right? You don't want it to feel stale. Monthly giveaways are great. Giveaways are some of the most valuable content. When you're doing monthly giveaways, you can also promote this on the front end in your socials. Be like, hey, you join, we do monthly giveaways in there. Zach just won this Xbox, or Linda just won this brand new, amazing smart fridge. If you're like in the cooking space, you can make it match your brand. Curriculum, so if you have like skill-based knowledge as part of your brand, you can choose to add curriculum in there. You can give them identity transformation. So what does this mean? An example, with the cooking channel that we're working with, you join their community and you become the queen of your kitchen. So now you're not just joining a Patreon, but you're becoming a queen. It gives you confidence, right? It gives them identity. One of the most famous campaigns of all time, Steve Jobs. Here's to the crazy ones. The misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the ones who see things differently. That's an identity transformation. People hear that and they're like, that's me. I see things differently. When Steve Jobs came back into Apple after he was kicked out, this is the campaign that a lot of people attribute to putting Apple back on the map and putting them back in a trajectory of success. Don't understate the value of identity transformation. And then the biggest part is just provide value. That also, huge key, applies to the majority of your audience. I was talking to a creator recently, and he has a channel to where he travels a lot, and then he goes and finds unique foods around the world. And he talked about how he released an offer at one point, and because he travels a lot, he had a lot of really cool drone footage. And so he decided to try to test selling an offer of the drone footage that people could use and license out for their content, whatever. And it's incongruent, right? Like, people follow him for food at the end of the day. It's a travel food channel. The only people who are gonna wanna care about licensing, drone content is videographers and editors, which is a tiny, tiny percentage of his audience. So of course it didn't work, right? You wanna scratch the same itch of why they follow you in the first place. It needs to be congruent with your brand and apply to the majority of people who follow you for it to be the most effective. Okay, so that was for the creator. Now, if you're a personal brand, a business owner, entrepreneur, the most effective strategy I've come across is with your socials, you want to drive people to a lead magnet, which is a free offer, that then drives people to your paid offer. And what should your lead magnet be? The most valuable thing that you know. But then you still want to leave them with more itch to scratch. You want to give away for free what could be sold for thousands. And then when you do this, watch how many more people want to buy from you. When you give away your best stuff for free and people go through it, they're like, holy shit, this is for free? It's like, I can't imagine what their paid stuff would be like. And so many people get this wrong. They want to hold their best stuff in. I would never give away that. This is my best stuff. And they give away mediocre things for free. And so people go through it and they're like, this sucks. So their paid stuff probably sucks. It's backwards thinking. So lead magnet, I put together, I think it's called an acronym, HALOS. You want it to be highly valuable, actionable, low effort, important, I'll touch on that. One big promise, you don't want it to be confusing, and short. So these different points, an example, I'm going to go into example lead magnets that work really, really well. But let's say that you're giving away a free ebook. You don't want to give away a free 200, 300-page ebook. No one reads it. They got it for free. It's not even physical. It's just on your whatever. There's too much time. That takes hours and hours of dedication. What you want to give them is a free book. Ideally, it's 20 pages or less. And it's hugely valuable, right? And so they can go through it in 15 minutes and extract so much value from it and then action it. It just works better. Actionable is key. Low effort. The less effort they had to put in to get results, the better. One big promise, so it's not confusing. And make it short. So high converting lead magnet ideas or courses. These are one of my favorites. Community can be great with this. You just need you're going to manage the community, or you need a community manager to manage it. So there's a bit more complexity that goes into that. PDFs work awesome. A tool, this depends on your business. It just depends on what kind of value you provide to people, but you can get creative of having a tool that they use. AI or software, if you're a SaaS company, one thing that works really great is if you have a free trial, or if you have a course, you can give away, a paid program, you can give away maybe one module or a certain percentage of that curriculum for free, and then the rest is behind a paywall. Okay? And so now I want to get into promotion strategies. So this can be for your Patreon, or this can be for a lead magnet, or anything else that you promote on socials. This is one, I'm constantly shocked of how many people I see not do this, who have really big channels. I think it's because of limiting beliefs. They're like, I can't sell it to my audience. It's like, people are going to want it if you pitch it right. Just don't come across as gimmicky. But you want to have 2 to 3 call to action. CTA stands for call to action. You want to have 2 to 3 call to actions. A call to action is like a promotion, right? In each long form video. And the longer the video, the more CTAs you can fit in. And what's really important is, especially the one that's further towards the beginning, you want to keep it shorter, 15 to 30 seconds. Otherwise, you're going to see a dip in retention and watch time. People are going to jump. Place one close to the beginning. You don't want to do it at the very front, but if you have it within the first 1 to 3 minutes of the video, this works great. This is where your watch time is still the highest overall, so the most people see it. So the more CTAs you do and the more people that see them, the more signups you're going to have. Simple as that. But there's a balance because you don't want to oversell to your audience either. So you got to find that balance zone. And this is a good way to do it. And then you want to place one close to the end, but not at the very end. Because if you do it at the very end of all your videos, people, again, they just jump right off. But if there's still a few minutes left, the watch time is going to be higher. You also want to have it linked in the description of every video. This is a big tip with benefit-driven copy. A lot of people are just like, join my app or join my Patreon. And then it's the link. You'd include get free 7-day, get free trial access to the Patreon, join the community, exclusive content, like include the benefits in the copy. You're going to get a higher click-through rate. You can create branded merch for whatever it is you do that you wear in your content. It's more subliminal branding. Casually mention it often in your content outside of CTAs. You can tell stories about it or whatever else you want to do that's creative. You can post stories on other platforms linking to it. So you could post you maybe doing a Q&A call, or if a member's giving positive feedback, you can include that as a screenshot. You can do a giveaway winner. And all of this can have a link that goes back to your offer. You can use monthly giveaways to promote more signups. This works really, really, really well. It's like giveaways are some of the most viral content. You look at Mr. Beast, all of his content is giving away stuff, just at a really big level. You want to follow the 80-20 rule or less for promotions in your short-form content. Like I said, there's a balance. You don't want to oversell to your audience. And so you can lead with 80% value and 20% or less promotion. Ways that this could look is maybe 1 in every 5 posts is a promotional post, almost like an ad. Or you could have most posts have call to actions, but still 80% plus of each video is very value-based. And so people don't get mad if you have a little ask that's thrown in there. You want to promote at least once per week on stories, if not a few more. Ideally, just you have more things that are going up on your story outside of only promoting, right? Otherwise, people are going to stop watching them. Optimize all bios to drive to your offer, whether it's lead magnet, Patreon, whatever else. Huge tip, use ManyChat for Instagram and Facebook. The conversions are significantly higher than being like link in bio or adding a link sticker in your stories. ManyChat will usually 3-to-1 plus outconvert links. And then more advanced strategies, you can post sample clips from paid content with text call to actions, promoting the offer in the video. You can and should go high levels here. It's the best platform ever. You can and should create an email and SMS list to retarget and remarket to and drive more signups. Go high level makes it stupid simple. I've used every CRM automation tool out there for a long time. Go high level is the best. Shout out Go High Level. You can run low budget retargeting ads. These have a really high ROI, return on investment, and can be as low as $5 a day. So retargeting ads to be run to all of your audience engagement, page viewers if they go to your landing page, canceled users. These are all called custom audiences. The ad platforms make it really easy to set this up. You can even just look up a YouTube video. These are huge, some of the biggest companies in the world, and they make all their money from ads. So they have massive teams that make running ads as easy as possible. So it's not hard to learn. And a lot of the time, if you spend $5 a day on these campaigns, you'll get $10, $15, $20 back in return. That's called a money machine, a money printer. You can follow a product launch formula when first launching your new offer. This is highly recommended. There's too many details to go into today, but you can search this up, learn more about it. But instead of being like, hey guys, out of nowhere, I have this new Patreon, go join, you can build up. You can do a launch to it. You can turn it into an event to where you have, it feels like overnight, all these people flood in and all these new sales come in. You can use large viral giveaways to collect emails and or promote signups. If it's on brand, that's the best. We've all seen car giveaways. You could do, like I was mentioning cooking, like a top-of-the-line smart fridge, Rolex watch, depending on your audience. Important note, just make sure that you're following compliance for this. There are like legal FTC compliance regulations with giveaways, so easy Google search. And then you want to use testimonial collection campaigns to gather more promotional content that you use that drives more sales and signups. Awesome. I told you we're going to keep going quick. So how long a customer stays with you is called retention. And how much a customer spends with you over the lifetime of the relationship is called lifetime value, LTV, okay? And an example to give you is, let's say you have a Patreon offer that's $10 a month. A lower retention example would be the average person comes on and they stay for 2 months. Therefore, the lifetime value is $20 per member, right? Then, if you were to just improve your retention and take it from 2 months to 8 months, the lifetime value per member turns to $80. This is a 4x in the total money you make without getting any new customers. It's pretty cool, right? A lot of people don't focus, it's like always focused on more sales. I need more front-end customers, more this, more that. But you can also make the customers you have a lot more valuable. So better retention equals more money. And so some tips of improving retention is you want to have ongoing new content. You want it to feel like there's always something fresh, there's something to look forward to, doesn't get stale. You can do monthly themes and challenges. Again, this makes it feel new, constant things to look forward to. Incentivize community engagement. A lot of the community platforms have tools built for this. School gives people badges. Circle has different tools for this. Discord has unlockables, badges they give as well. They make it really easy. Cancellation recovery is a big one. We've all probably subscribed to a software. You go to cancel, and they're like, wait, what if we give you 50% off the next couple months? Or they're like, wait, you're going to lose everything. What if you just go on pause for 3 months? There's a lot you can do that makes companies way more money because it boosts their retention. Increase member status for longer retention. So like badges, you can do public recognition. You can even shout them out. Unlockables is huge. And what this means is more valuable bonus resources are unlocked and given to people the longer they stay with you. So maybe after 30 days, they get this really cool thing. And then after 60 days, they get this really cool thing. And it gives them targets to continue to look forward to and stay on with you. And overall, simply put, be better. The better your offer is, the longer people are going to stay with it. And now let's talk about the best marketing of all, which is word of mouth. And a word of mouth introduction we'll call a referral. So why is word of mouth the best? Because it has less marketing costs or none at all, higher conversion rates, higher retention rates, higher customer satisfaction, exponential growth, which we'll talk about. Because if every customer you acquire refers 2 or more people to you, you will always grow without ever having to market again. Right? That's the goal. That's why it's so powerful. And so the takeaway from that is referrals are higher value customers who are worth more to you. Therefore, you should be willing to pay to incentivize more referrals and word of mouth. So how do you increase referrals? You ask for them. And people are more likely to refer others during the first 72 hours after they buy. This is when they're most excited. A lot of people make the mistake of like, yeah, they got to stay in for a while, ask them a few months in. It's like so much that a lot of the excitement's gone down. So you can ask for referrals right when they buy. It can be included in the welcome email or video during the onboarding process. You can use Go High Level and have a personal email go out to them or a text asking for referrals within the first 24 hours. People are also more likely to buy when they're happy customers. So ask for referral when customers share a win or testimonial. You can do testimonial collection campaigns. Or if you do, let's say you have a service, you do check-in calls, they're telling you how awesome it is. Great time to ask for referrals. And then you also want to incentivize them. Incentivizing with pay is always great. Can't go wrong. So you could do X dollars in cash, or or them and their referral both get 1 month free, so on and so forth. You can get creative with ways to do this. And you can also incentivize with value. You can to let them know, like, hey, members who join with a friend get greater results. They have a better experience. Like, who else do you know that you think should join with you? You can also give them a super and cool, valuable bonus for extra referrals. I have a friend who, with a small following, built a creator business to more than $100,000 per month within 4 months because he had the experience, but a lot of it came through referrals. And he was selling to videographers to start and scale their business as a videographer. And every videographer wants what's called a red camera. So he built this referral program that showed after you have 1 referral, you get this thing, and 3 referrals, you get this thing, and 4 referrals. And after someone sent 12 referrals, they would get a red camera, which is like, I don't know, varies on cost, $10,000 plus. And so a lot of people would strive for that red camera and start sending a ton of referrals to him. And he grew like crazy with barely promoting and without a large audience. And then lastly, be better. When your product or service is incredible, people naturally talk about it and refer customers without you even needing to ask. But of course, when you do ask, you get more, so you should ask. And so I want to find out who here finds all this valuable but feels like they don't have the time to do it. It's a lot, right? Again, focus. Like, you don't have to do all this at once. This is a lot, but you can start to build and do these things. But I want to pose the question, how do you free up your time while still getting things done that are not optional? Who here wants to take a guess? What was it? Systems. Systems is a good answer. You sleep less. For those who clapped, I think that's the worst advice ever. So I don't recommend that. I personally love my sleep. Who else loves to sleep? Yeah, there we go, sleep. No, you buy it back is the answer. Don't listen to people, it's just like sleep less. And so the magic mindset with this is instead of asking yourself who or how, ask yourself who. And when you're buying back your time, what you want to do to make this actionable is you can run what's called a time audit. So you can create a sheet with 15-minute time blocks each day for just 1 week, just do it 1 week, and log what you do during each 15-minute time block. After completed, you can review and color code each time block with red, yellow, or green. Red is something that you just want to cut this out, or you want to minimize it completely. Yellow is something that needs to get done, but it's lower value, or it's cheap to outsource, or it's something that you don't enjoy doing. And then green is very high value, it's hard to replace, and this is where more of your time should go. This is going to produce more results for you. And then the action is to cut out the red, delegate the yellow, and double down on the green. And then you just do this forever. Don't stop. This is the game. This is how you get better. And so the mindset shift of this is building a team is an asset rather than a liability. An example is, let's say that you're a creator earning $10,000 per month. I hear this all the time. They still do all their editing, all their content. Because they're like, it's a lot of money to like hire a good editor. But instead of thinking that way, you can think of hiring a $3,000 per month editor will free up 20 plus hours per week, allowing me to focus on higher leverage activities to quickly scale from 10K to 30K a month. So you spend 3K to get 20,000 back. Who thinks that sounds like a good investment? That's the game. So many people, you have to shift your mindset. Team is asset, right? The takeaway is team is not a liability, it's an asset. Stop saying you can't afford it and start thinking it'll make me more. The key with this is you just need great team members. You need great talent. That's really it. So the takeaway is build a team. We've talked to a lot of creators who are very, very successful on the audience side, the view side, the money side. I've never met one single person who's done it without a team. It's a requirement. It's not optional. If you're serious about this, it is required. So lastly, if you are a creator with 300,000 plus YouTube subscribers or a B2C enterprise brand doing 50 million plus in annual revenue, let's talk. We can be your team. It's also an application QR code. We have a booth out there. And if you're an aspiring or active creator looking to reach top 1% in your niche through omnipresence, also let's talk. We can be your consultant. And lastly, if you want to work with the world's largest creators and brands with high earning and growth potential, let's talk. We're always hiring. You can email your resume to careers@mediascaling.com. So conclusion of this, that's how you create great content, mass distribute great content, and then maximize monetization. That's my talk.